What does God say about it? Does God say that we are the only beings in the universe?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Don't try to distract me with this bullshit.
The idea that there's life elsewhere is heavily rooted in the evolutionary hypothesis, because there's evolution here, there must be everywhere. Their theories of evolution, not only just scientifically problematic, but just even theologically and philosophically problematic.
It sounded like you were saying the stage is kind of set.
Yeah.
Almost everything that's happened needs to happen. What has happened that needed to happen, and what still needs to happen?
Well, before the Antichrist comes, one of the things that we know from the fathers of the church is that there will be a worldwide implosion of people's morality.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the Epstein stuff. Have you been following that at all?
A bit, from a distance, yeah.
That seems like some type of satanic ritualistic type stuff that was going on there.
Yes, actually, to the degree that I can have certitude about what you can find on the internet. The stuff that was going on there, and just the layout of the island, gives an indication that it was heavily involved in the occult.
What about the temple?
According to the fathers of the church, at least the ones that I've read, they said the temple will never be rebuilt. The difficulty is people tend to misinterpret the book of Daniel, which says when the abomination of desolation takes its seat in the temple. First of all, Julian the Apostate tried to rebuild it, and it was destroyed.
You had mentioned the mark of the beast. It's just in the past, 6 years, I've heard lots of different things that could be the mark of the beast. The first one being the COVID shot.
Yeah.
What are people supposed to do? Let's say that they do usher in the new digital currency. What are we supposed to do if we can't eat, take care of ourselves, provide for our families?
First of all, the mark of the beast is the inversion of what they call the mark of baptism. So when a person's baptized, God infuses a quality in the person's soul, which is a mark. The mark of the beast is going to be the inversion of that. So it's going to be something in our bodies that is going to be that will give us access to these particular things.
Neuralink.
You're not going to be able to get that chip without some type of renunciation of Christ. There's going to have to be some religious thing you're going to have to accept that is contrary to the will of God and contrary to Christ. And so the moral of the story is that you have to be willing to sacrifice the lesser good in order to achieve the greater good. You have to be willing to, I have to follow Christ regardless of the personal cost.
What are some of the things you've seen during an exorcism? Levitation, you had mentioned shape-shifting.
For example, the women will change, all of a sudden their facial structure changes and it looks like a man.
Like a skinwalker.
Yeah, there's also certain kind of complexion changes.
Just about every kid in the country watches Disney.
The thing about Satanists, there's a side to diabolic psychology that even when they remain hidden, they still want to show themselves in some way. They can't help it.
How much of the country or the world is this affecting?
What percentage of the adult population is diabolically obsessed? So it's having a huge impact.
The demons are calling out sins of people very high up in the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want those sins to get out.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they want you gone.
When they get into positions of power, which you've seen this, such as in the civil authorities, you can talk about anything but God in civil context. If you're on the floor of the Congress, they're not going to be talking about God. At least maybe they have started more recently, but historically you just couldn't do it. So that when they gain access, you're not going to be able to talk about God. So anything but God.
When we're talking about the elites, when we're talking about the people that are getting us to focus on the distraction,
right?
The people that are in on this, do they know what aliens are, or are their minds being controlled by a demonic force?
Situation for the Antichrist is just about present. The Antichrist has to be able to rule the world. He's not going to rule through governance. He's going to rule it through economies. When he appears, there has to be a unification of the worldwide economy. There's been an implosion where people just aren't following the laws of God or the natural law in any sense of the term. The people that are alive, that in order to survive, you have to be able to plug into that economy in some fashion. That's why they talk about the mark of the beast. Well, we're almost there, where they could literally just decide, look, unless you're going to sign off on certain things, you're not going to have access to the digital currency that we're going to enact worldwide, and therefore, because that's how we could rule it.
So we're talking like social credit score.
Yeah, that's right.